experts warn of more seismic activity in the region. Now we move on to our next news. U.S. President Donald Trump is disputing a report that claims he nearly fired Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell. In a post on his Truth Social, Trump called the Wall Street Journal story untruthful, adding that no one explains things to him, he explains to them. The report suggested Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin had to step in to prevent the dismissal. Trump has long been critical of Powell's handling of interest rates and on Friday once again urged the Fed to cut rates. This latest exchange comes amid growing pressure on the Fed as the U.S. economy shows mixed signals ahead of the election. Now we're joined by Spencer Clitchley. He's communications strategist joining us live from California. Thank you, Spencer, for joining us today. Good to see you. Now, according to the report, Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin had to step in to prevent Trump from firing Powell. What does this reveal about the current internal dynamics of the Trump administration?
Well, it seems to be more of the same chaos and just utter foolishness, frankly. This whole idea of firing the chair of the Federal Reserve reminds me of Trump's propensity for cheating at golf. He wants Jerome Powell, the chair of the Federal Reserve, to artificially lower interest rates in order to make Trump's economy look better, the same way that he artificially lowers his golf scores to make his golf game look better. This is doing grave damage to the U.S. economy. It's just beginning to show up now, although something that has shown up dramatically and I think has been underreported in the first 6 months of this year is the decline in the value of the U.S. dollar by almost 11%, while international investors and sovereign wealth funds pull away from investments in the U.S. economy and the U.S. stock market and from U.S. Treasury bonds. Now, I'm not an economist or a financial advisor, but I think I know enough about it to know that this is extremely serious. The U.S. dollar has been the reserve currency for the world for many decades now, and it's been a source of great advantage to the United States, including allowing the United States to run increasing deficits every year and grow its overall debt to frightening levels now. That's only possible because people believe in the strength of the U.S. economy and the U.S. dollar. And if they're starting to lose confidence in those things, as they do when they see President Trump trying to destroy the independence of our Federal Reserve and basically destroy the credibility of our banking system, that could cause the whole thing to collapse.
And Spencer, historically, were there any other examples of U.S. presidents having tensions with the Feds, and could this have, what implications could this have for future of policy decisions?
Well, it's quite common for presidents to be frustrated with Federal Reserve policy, but it's understandable because their political objectives are often in conflict with the Federal Reserve's policy. But that's exactly why the Federal Reserve should be independent of politics. Whichever president is in office, Democrat or Republican, may feel that interest rates are too high, or I guess rarely feel that they're too low, which I'm not sure if I can think of an example of, but they will see it from their perspective of needing to have the economy appear to be performing well and loans for houses and cars and things to be cheap for American consumers so that they and their party can win re-election. But that's no way to run an economy, and that's why we have an independent Federal Reserve, because we want people dispassionately looking at the actual state of the economy and balancing the competing demands of low inflation and solid employment and steady economic growth. And that doesn't happen if you're being pushed this way and that by the changing political fortunes of whichever party happens to be in power.
Yes. Thank you very much, Spencer, for sharing.